The only way to really push things forward is to bring more people in. So a lot of people who don't identify as a queer person have never been to a gay bar and stepped foot in Icons, and they're nervous. And then everybody's just so nice and fun, and they're singing at you, and it's really hard to have a bad time at Icons. So I think that's part of the mission, honestly, is to show people that the thing that they've never experienced, the fear that they have or whatever, is just because they have a lack of experience with our community.
No matter what you're craving, the food scene in downtown Colorado Springs is sure to satisfy. With more than 130 restaurants, bars, coffee shops, and breweries, downtown Colorado Springs has something for everyone's inner foodie.
Tap&Table is proudly sponsored by Side Dish Dozen member The French Kitchen. The French Kitchen is a culinary center that caters to those who love to cook, those who want to learn, and even those who really don't want to cook at all. Their team of professional chefs have decades of combined experience and teach you how to prepare all sorts of international cuisine favorites and American classics. Want to feel like you're in France? The French Kitchen also houses a bakery. Enjoy an authentic French pastry or dessert with an Italian coffee in their cafe. And when you don't feel like cooking, they've got you covered with their frozen market full of house-made goodies. They deliver up to 20 miles away from their location at 4771 North Academy Boulevard, just off Flint Ridge Drive. Visit tfkcc.com to find store hours, the upcoming class calendar, and monthly specials.
Looking to lift your spirits? Downtown Colorado Springs is home to more than 130 restaurants, bars, coffee shops, and breweries where you can grab a glass of wine, beer, cocktail, or mocktail. Raise a glass to downtown Colorado Springs.
Ranch Foods Direct has the best beef and pork in town, thanks to a regenerative agricultural model using the natural synergies between cattle, hogs, and chickens to optimize the health of livestock and the land. Ranch Foods Direct is an all-in-one, full-service butcher shop with a prepared foods deli and year-round farmers market. Find two convenient locations, one on the east side at 4635 Town Center Drive, and one centrally located at 1228 East Fillmore Street, where shoppers can also enjoy on-site food trucks from El Chapin with fantastic street-style eats featuring Ranch Foods Direct meats from tacos to smash burgers. For more information or to make an online delivery order, visit ranchfoodsdirect.com.
It's pretty soon here. Yes. I know. Welcome to Tap&Table. My name is Ryan Hannigan. I'm here with my co-host, Matthew Schniper. We're here at the new location of Icons with the co-owners, Joshua Franklin-Wolfe and John Wolfe, to really sort of check out the new place and get a little backstory into where they've been since some big things have happened. If you don't know Icons, they are downtown's only gay bar, and they're also a bar with singing bartenders. If you don't know about the big things that happened, they were put out of business about 7 months ago due to a neighboring business's fire that took over pretty much an entire city block. And as you can see behind us, they have a new space, and it's growing ever closer to reopening. Matt, what do you have to say about that?
I'm very excited personally. I also would have to say it's more than just a bar. This is really important for a lot of our community. It's a vital hub where people who are marginalized can come and feel welcomed. And it's a safe space, an empowering space. And for allies, advocates, and everyone else, it's super fun and entertaining. Again, speaking from personal experience. So thanks for joining us today. And we're really excited to be amongst this little mess you have going on.
Thank you. You're one of the first.
Yeah, thanks. We're honored to be here. So you guys are the faces of the business. And as we were just joking around, you are not the Josh and John's ice cream people, not Josh and John ice cream people. You are the Icons, Josh and John people. So for anyone who does not know you already, can you tell us about your lives growing up in the arts, how you came to perform on Broadway and in national tours? And maybe, Josh, you want to start because you are the local kid who grew up and went to Doherty High School here.
That is true. I went to Doherty, graduated in the 90s, and then moved back here in 2020. And, it was an interesting year. But you asked me about performing. So yes, went to high school here. I studied musical theater. I went on to do 6 Broadway shows, a bunch of national tours, shows in Canada, just did the whole gamut. Recorded 2 albums. Had quite the career in theater, and then theater ended for a bit in 2020, so we pivoted. John is from West Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the noise is, but it's good.
It's the building crumbling
It's a
to the
construction
ground.
zone. You're going to hear noises. It's all right.
Yeah, similar. Grew up in West Virginia, homeschooled Mormon farm boy life, but surprisingly art-centered family. So we did a lot of arts together. Moved to New York, did kind of the same thing. We met doing a show together. And then I got to come out to Colorado Springs without the baggage that he had and saw it with fresh eyes. In what, 20?
We were here in 2018
and that's
to
when-
help the Colorado Springs Conservatory.
That's when we decided, it lined up that it was the first time we were able to buy our first house, and we decided to buy here. It just seemed like a really exciting place to get involved with, and then the rest is history.
Slightly more affordable than New York City, right?
Yes.
At that time, I don't know about
Well,
now.
and we just took a leap. We were just actors in New York. We didn't have any money, but we just took this leap and bought a house, knowing that we still lived in New York. We didn't have intentions of living here, but we just knew eventually this would be a cute place to live.
And since I just researched this today, you're not just actors, because I saw a lot of titles: singer, songwriter, dance captain, choreography. You kind of do everything, it sounds like.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to New York now in the musical theater world, everybody does a little bit of everything these days. But you find what makes you and special and unique, and you highlight that because everybody's so gifted. So,
John also plays the violin. Violin, piano.
That I did not know.
He's very good. Yeah.
But yeah, so then we Airbnb'd that house for a few years. Pandemic happened. We decided to meet here instead of our 500 square foot studio in New York. That's when we met a lot of the community that we're so passionate about now, the queer community here. And it was disappointing that there wasn't a place downtown, and it just kind of snowballed. And it was a COVID idea that got out of hand, and now here we are.
I feel like there's a lot of people that can say that exact phrase. It was a COVID idea, but now we're
Now all of
in
a
up to
sudden
our necks.
I mean, I talk all the time about it was just never in the cards that we would own commercial property anywhere, much less a home, much less a business. And I mean, we just are going with the flow.
So what's the significance for you guys being the only gay bar downtown? Like,
Yeah,
you
it's
talked about it
major.
as being like that, like you know, sort of rallying around the culture here. But like, what's the underlying significance for you and then for the community as a large?
For me, when we first started out, we spent so much of our lives on tour, living out of a suitcase, and you get to the new downtown area and you Google gay bar. That's just like part of being on tour, even if you're straight, because that's where the party's at. And it hurt my heart that my hometown, knowing that my performer friends could tour through Colorado Springs, Google gay bar, and nothing would come up in my hometown. So that didn't sit right with me.
Yeah, honestly, it's disappointing. We are the biggest advocates for other people to do it. The city's getting big enough that it needs a proper neighborhood like the other ones, and I think it would be amazing. So we would welcome those neighbors, but the positive spin on that is downtown is such a welcoming environment that I think a lot of people think it's not needed. And there is comfort there and safety there, but it says something with a label on it that people know they're invited and safe.
I think that's. I mean, everybody wants that sort of safe place to be where you can just be yourself and do what you need to do.
And they deserve it.
Whether you just need to sit in the corner and wallow over an old fashioned or a beer, or you need to sit up and get up on stage and sing.
Yeah.
Are there
Those spaces are needed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are there other businesses that might be a good time just to quickly shout out? Who else is in town serving the community in some ways? There's the Q. I think Burleby does a pretty good job.
The Q just opened over at the Satellite, which we're excited for them. But Burleby has been always a very excited and supportive neighbor and a huge advocate for the queer community.
By the way, guys, happy Pride Month. We forgot to say that when we started.
Thank you very much.
That was very straight of you. How dare you?
I know, right? I feel okay about it still, though.
Yeah, thank you.
So, okay, a UCCS student in 2020 wrote the following about icons. I saw this today and I just thought I would read it back because it was so poignant. The Springs has had less than ideal queer spaces, often relying too heavily on the fact that they're queer to keep them in business, rather than having a genuinely amazing space. Icons is not just a great gay bar, it's a great bar, queer identity aside. They went on to say that Icons was something they wish they could show off. It was so cool they even wanted to bring their straight friends. And I'm going to get to a question now, I promise. And asking respectfully, as the sometimes clueless cis straight dude, is impressing straight people like your "oh yeah, we arrived" moment as a gay bar? And by the way, I was impressed when I first saw it.
Thank you.
I would say just my gut instinct is it's harder to impress a gay guy than a straight guy.
I don't know.
Right?
I don't know if it's we've arrived. It's more of like you're welcome.
You're welcome.
No, I made a joke earlier that even now we get the question: are straight people allowed to come?
Yeah.
And of course, but everything we did for our community, and we're glad it's celebrated by other ones.
Well, and the only in Colorado Springs, the only way to really push things forward is to bring more people in. So a lot of people who don't identify as a queer person have never been to a gay bar and stepped foot in Icons, and they're nervous. And then everybody's just so nice and fun, and they're singing at you, and it's really hard to have a bad time at Icons. So I think that's part of the mission, honestly, is to show people that the thing that they've never experienced, the fear that they have or whatever, is just because they have a lack of experience with our community. And it's like anything else. I mean, you're afraid of something if you've not experienced it.
Yeah, so we're tricking people into opening their minds and hearts.
And it worked.
Music and good
The
cocktails.
power of song.
Yeah.
I went to college in a mountain town, and every single tourist season, tourists would basically go bar to bar asking, "Is there live music? Is there live music?" So you're doing that. You're like, "Hey, we have live music," and people go, "Oh, great!" And then you're like, "By the way, it's a gay bar."
Yeah.
Be like, dare you not to have fun though.
It's not just like, a jam band playing some tunes. These are like the best vocalists I've ever heard in my life after 20 years of working on Broadway. So we've flown out friends from New York that just can't believe that the talent that all these people have found this one place to work and sing, and it happens to be Colorado Springs. It's wild.
These were local hires, people that came to you or you found that have that good of a voice, that are great performers.
Yeah, we're wildly lucky, and we started out with 3 people that we knew ahead of time. We were like, we can do this. We have enough. Us plus you, we can do it. And then it grew quickly. We needed more people, so then we were scrambling because the people we started with, the talent was just out of this world, and we wanted to maintain that. So we were doing deep dives on YouTube and Instagram and just like Colorado Springs singers, like trying to find anyone. So that was one route, and we did find a couple of people that way who are still with us. And then the other way is once people saw that, they wanted to be a part of it. So we get auditions. We make people audition first. That's how you apply. So we get audition videos almost daily of people wanting to work for us. So it's really heartwarming.
So when you're up and running, do you have turnover? Do you have like artists that come into town for a couple months and then bartend, sing,
Definitely.
and then move on?
Yeah,
and so you got to keep the doors open.
Like that. I mean, that's why they come back, because we're so like, oh, you got a contract on a cruise ship? Great, go do that. Come back and tell us how it is, and hopefully, we'll have room for you when you get back. So and it's really worked out.
Yeah, I mean, we've had the same original people still for 3 years, and then it's only grown from there. And I don't know, we're such a family, it doesn't feel like work. And we just give them a place where they get to be themselves as artists and people, and that's rare in any work scenario. So,
I was going to say, I don't know of very many businesses that can say they have like their original employees.
It's wild.
From 5 years ago.
and people have asked, like, what are you going to do when you reopen? Like, how are you going to find staff? They're all coming back.
Here.
Like, this is where
incredible.
They want to be.
Every one of them is coming back.
Yeah, everyone's coming back, and it's, like I said, it's just that family mentality. I mean, it's their home. And that was why it was so heartbreaking when the fire happened right before the holidays. Those are our kids, and we would do anything to keep them
happy and employed.
And well.
they make decent money too, because when you hear them sing, the drinks are great, obviously, but then you hear your
It's the
bartender get up
entertainment,
there
though.
and sing
Right.
the way that they sing.
Right, and then they jump back behind the bar, and you're like,
Yeah.
And
Like,
they-
just take all the money.
They've taken a lot of ownership and pride in being a part of this family and being the foundation of the bar. We know that it wouldn't be what it is without them. And and they're also ambassadors for the queer community for the city. Like you said, there's a lot of people that have never been to a queer space, so they come here, and that could be the first queer person you think you're meeting. And so there's a responsibility there to
represent. Yeah, and you said that we're the faces of Icons, and it's funny because it felt like that initially.
The first time.
And now I feel like there are 12 faces, you know, that people really do feel like, and they do, they know they know Zach, they know Leo, they know Janae. They're part of the family too, like all of these patrons and friends that we've made. So I would say that there are many faces of Icons. It's not just Josh and John.
So right now, you guys are, as you can tell, as our audience can tell, you're building out Icons 2.0.
Yeah.
Walk us through what it was like to open up a gay bar in downtown Colorado Springs, which has been always predominantly conservative to its core, but also in the height of the pandemic.
Well, I would just say we're really smart.
I mean, it was nuts.
It was easy.
Nuts. But
Do it again.
You know, on paper, we were like, well, there's no competition. We're getting great deals on leases and stuff because nobody's doing anything. So we were taking it a day at a time and waiting for a major roadblock, and that never happened. So it
Also, ignorance is bliss. You know, we've never
If no
owned a
adversity hits
business.
your way, it's like, all right.
idiots.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
if there's a food shortage on hot dogs, we're out. We're
Yeah,
dead in the water.
Yeah, what were we thinking? And then I think as far as business went, it was really helpful because we thought it was going to be this, in our head, it was this sleepy little martini bar. There was like one person doing, and
Tinkling the ivories in the background. you know,
opening
so-
night, we were door to door, and it was a party, and we were like, okay, that's what the community wants, and that's what it is now.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Which was really
Business
fun.
plan.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think it's a good lesson for any business owner. Like, yes, you can have your plan, but really the people that come to your establishment, they define what your business is going to be.
and be adaptable, and don't be prideful, and listen to smarter people around you. And so there was a lot of that. And then with capacity in the pandemic, we were able to slowly learn an industry that we knew nothing about, and kind of learn as we were able to let in more people. So that was honestly very beneficial for us as business owners and employers.
Interesting. So, I grew up in this town, and I think that prior to the 2018, 2019 time, the underground was the only pseudo safe place. But I think they still they didn't come out and proclaim, hey, this
Right.
is a safe spot. But it was known as being the gay bar. But
Yeah.
it was not didn't do what Icons did, where you were like, hey, you can come here.
Right.
Move, we're gay.
I think that places like the Underground, there hide and seek, there have been several, and I think they served a really important purpose for that time. I think it was scary to
bet.
come out on Google and say, this is a gay bar. But we just felt it was time, and also a community that had been offered clubs and dark and hiding and plastic cups, I think just deserved a different option. They deserve to have a nice cocktail and a glass and some great entertainment, and to not hide.
Yeah.
To walk into a colorful explosion of celebrating who we are. And I just think it was time.
I realized I just made a statement and you just took it and ran with it, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I had a question. I was like, I didn't even ask a question. That's
It's
actually,
our
you read my
podcast
mind
now.
on what I was trying to get out of
I
that.
got you.
That's how I write half my questions. And your turn to talk now. What you were just saying, though, is a great segue into a question I have written, actually,
Okay.
that was next in line. But kind of talking about, hide and seek and back when it was a little more risky or dangerous to do these things. 2022, November, the Club Q shooting happens, which is just devastating for everyone, everywhere. But you guys were the only other bar in town, stood up quickly and tried to welcome everyone in. I wanted to ask you about that, because that's in your history, opening during the pandemic, and then this happens, and then we get to the fire, which we'll get to, but that's a really significant moment. So just wanted to ask what that was like for Icons at the time.
Yeah, that was
It was horrible. There's no...
overwhelming day. I mean, first and foremost, we also will always give credit to Club Q for laying a foundation of being a gay bar here for so long and saying that out loud. I don't think we would have worked as well if they hadn't done that already. But yeah, and immediately we're getting texts from people being like, what are you going to do? How are you going to do it? How are you going to make it better or safe? And saying it's disrespectful if we stay open or disrespectful if we close, or, there was no right choice. So we sat down, the first thing we did was we sat down with our staff and just asked what they needed to feel safe and what they wanted to do. And I think because of how close they are with their patrons, they felt adamant that we needed to be there for the community. So we wanted to be there for them, they wanted to be there for them, and it's all we felt we could do is just be there. There was 2 gay bars in town, and it could have been us.
Well, and
Right, and all of a sudden
it's
there's
a small
one.
community, so like we're friends with people that were affected, and yeah, at the end of the day, we just like had to keep showing up because I think that was important for the community to just know like there's some consistency still. There's still a community. It's still strong. It just traumatized, and we still are. We did this event at the Well last week, and it's going so well, and everybody's having a great time. And this guy on the street, they had put up balloons, and this guy was popping balloons and getting aggressive, like from the sidewalk. And it just, I think, we didn't talk about this at all, but I could see and I felt the trauma that just is there, and it's always going to be there. But you have a choice to show up or to hide, and I think that we felt this large responsibility to show up for the community and giving them space.
Do you still have moments where you find yourself just watching that front door a little more, or where your staff expressing that, like, hey, any moment, any time, someone could just walk in and start shooting just these wild things? Do you feel like you hold on to that in a different way than other businesses who don't have that extra thing to worry about?
Definitely.
Those things happen all over America, grocery stores and theaters and everywhere is scary, but a gay bar, especially now, you got one extra thing against you that someone might just target. So I just wondered, like, even as you get reopened, is it something that's with you?
Yeah, every choice that we make about the space, it's always part of it. But then we get to, the conversation of, well, other people have front patios and garage doors. Like, why do we have to hide? And I think it just keeps coming back to that for me. It's like, we've done that, and we can't let one person with a gun that they shouldn't have in the first place define how we behave in our spaces. Like, we deserve to be seen and heard. So hiding, I think, is just not an option.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you can't live your life letting hate win. You got to put love out there and just hope for the best. And that's, all we have is today, and that's true for anyone. So,
yeah.
It's hard to hear. It's so.
Now for something fun. No.
It's just like, I felt the somberness here, but it's like, it's something you guys have to deal with on a day in and day out basis.
Yeah.
Whether it's in your own establishment or just walking down the street.
I will say with Icons, because we have other friends that own other bars in town, what we deal with is like nothing compared to other places in town. Like, we rarely have any fights or any upset customers. I think there's something in the way that we, I don't know, we have a sign that says be kind or be gone. Like, we lead with kindness, so there's no space for negativity really in these walls. Maybe we just got really lucky for 3 years, but yeah.
I think there's just that positive sentiment that just, for everyone going, whether they're gay or straight, they're just coming in to have a good time, and it's less about people going to just drink their sorrows away or get drunk. It's more about, hey, let's go enjoy this place as an experience versus the ulterior.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about this right now. It's not something I've really thought about, but the idea that, of course, music is healing, we all know that, it's great, but it's also a very easy way to have something in common with someone. So if like something amazing is happening in front of you locally, you're like, that's good, and then you're talking, and then you're gonna find something in common, and now you're friends. So it's an easy way to bring people together and just like maybe shift your day if it's not going so great.
Totally.
So to bring us back to another hardship you endured, then comes the fire.
Yeah.
So then it's a year later, December 2023, a neighboring business of yours, one block over, had a kitchen fire, smoke damage all throughout the block, and suddenly you're out of business. That's now been 7 months, and here we are waiting to get reopened. So this is a ongoing thing. But before I ask more about this space, what else can you tell us about that experience of everything else you've been through, and here comes a fire? What was that like?
It would have been really easy to walk away that day.
Yeah.
It's because sometimes you're like, well, okay, like, fine, that's it. But then that's when the community kind of stood up for us and showed up emotionally supportive. So then, we didn't have a choice again. No, but it was definitely talked about. I mean, it was the worst. And when it was coming to talking about the safety measures after the prior year, we had just put in $100,000 of safety things, bulletproof glass, new alarm systems, a new back patio that was secure, and we lose all of that because it's tenant improvement. We're not protected as renters, so that was
Another reason
segue
why.
into buying. But that was heartbreaking, and it was just a very special little. It was just like a little jewel. It had so much heart, and
I can't really walk past it.
No.
It's just like heartbreaking.
And then we didn't know anything. Nobody would tell us anything for months. So we thought we were going back in. So we made all these plans with the understanding that, it'll be a week of cleaning. It'll be a month. These days it's 2 to 3 years. And so we're like, it's a whole thing.
The story changes every time you hear
It's
something.
been super
So
frustrating.
we were 2 months in before they said, go find another place. And we're like, well, we could have been doing that. And then it's all backtracked, and now it's 7 months. And we're in the thick of it.
So it's really like 5 months is really what it is.
Well, since we
Since you made the
officially
decision to,
found
like-
out that
Yeah.
we wouldn't be,
It was
welcome back.
The whole thing was so frustrating and disappointing, but trying to spin it, and I hope we look back on it, and it's the best thing that could have happened for our family. And
Yeah, I
we'll
mean,
see.
what else are you gonna do? You have to choose that's what the universe is telling you. It's time to get a
Well,
bigger
it's
space.
like you said, it's either you just say, all right, let's walk away, or you pick up and keep going.
Yep.
Well, what you said on I believe it was your GoFundMe page, which listeners, again, there is a GoFundMe page. You should definitely go visit it. We'll talk about that again, remind you, but it's Bring Icons Back. Just Google that, you'll find it. But if there is a silver lining to that whole fire story, it's that now you're getting your own space. You're going to own a building downtown, not be someone else's renter. There's a power in that. So maybe 5 or 10 years from now, when this real estate goes up and all the things, everything you lost in that will hopefully be recouped and more, because it pushed you into this space now, where this new thing can bloom. So, I mean, that's my hope for you. Like, that's my little blessing of the space.
Thank
Is
you.
like, let this be the amazing thing that came out of that, which is always that cliche about the, ashes and fire and the phoenix and all that stuff. But it's true. Like, this is that. So.
Did you see us in the Pride Parade over the weekend?
No. What did you do?
We made a phoenix. That was the whole
We
thing.
built an enormous puppet of a phoenix, and we won most creative.
Yes, we
Thank
did.
you.
Oh, that's
thank you.
fantastic.
Yeah.
No,
It was pretty awesome.
There's a lot of things that we're excited about that we haven't even necessarily announced, but the weekends were tough it was tiny, so we were turning people away. We were turning away business, and that's for us and our staff. And we were on reservations, turning tables. We're not gonna have to do that here, which is great. We have so much congregation area, so people can stay and enjoy, and we're looking forward to be able to have more of the community here on a more regular basis.
So walk us through the story of how you found this space, because downtown, it feels like there's always either lots of available real estate or no available real estate.
Right.
Yes.
There's very little. We actually were looking at a different space for a long time, and that just seemed like too big. And then actually it was our friends at Shame and Regret. We were like, that building at the end of the alley, you should check it out.
It was wild. We looked at everything, even as rentals, because we assumed that's all we could do. And there was just nothing that was going to work for us. It's a specific thing and a size that we need and the music that happens. Couldn't find it. Found that place. That would have been a big thing. We would have been landlords to 2 other businesses basically, and we were like, I don't know, there's nothing else.
The snowball's not that big at this point.
Right.
And then, it just kind of timed out that this was the exact size, the exact location. Like the first time, waiting for the roadblocks, and they haven't come. So we'll go until.
And we did see every possible space in town. I mean, like everything. And it was either like the rent was $22,000 a month, or like it was a perfect fit, but in 5 years they're going to tear it down and build an apartment. So like, it just it seemed, and this probably isn't true, but it seemed in the moment like we're buying this building or we're not reopening.
Yeah.
Because we just did the math, and it was like we're going to go out of business in a couple of years if we do option A, B, or C.
And we had to put everything we've ever saved, our house, everything is on the line with this new space. And so there was a lot of talks. There was a lot of opportunities for, the bank to be like, sorry, it's not going to work. And we would have been like, okay. And
we were at the signing, and we looked at them. We're like, you're really letting us do this?
Are you serious?
Are you okay?
Are you sure?
They did.
Sure?
We said if they said it's okay, they know better than I do, so I guess it's fine. But
It's their jobs.
That was overwhelming, but we've said it. We want this to be around longer than we are, and this seemed like the only way to make that happen. And yeah.
So to help people out too, we're standing in a blank space, but we're at 16 East Kiowa.
Yep.
Yes.
And it's across the street's Chiba Bar. Behind us is the alleyway with Shame and Regret. D11's one more down. You got this nice little walkway between some great bars.
Oh, yeah.
So this is gonna be like the hot alley to kind of be on.
Well, and it's 1 block from where we were, so it still feels like we have our neighbors that we loved so much.
Yeah.
And we just got a new mural on the side of the building as part of Art on the Streets, so that was really special for us. The city just reached out and they were like, hey, we have this project.
Seems
we
like
know
a good
you
fit.
might have this building.
Awesome.
Like art right away?
Can we
please.
paint on your wall? Like, hey, we don't have to pay for that? Great.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
And you gave me a brief tour a little earlier, which I can share on social later, so watch that. But can you just tell us really quick, I'm told there will be a rooftop patio, which is super exciting.
Speaking of GoFundMe, there's a lot of layers that go into that, and we're working as fast as we can. And the city's being super supportive, so anything they can help with, they are. But there's a lot of things as far as permitting goes, and the construction and the engineers. It's a whole thing. So we are moving forward with the plans that there will be a rooftop. That might be this fall when we reopen. It might wait until spring.
Of next year.
Which brings us back to that GoFundMe, because if people want to see it earlier, give money, help make it happen sooner, or we'll get it later, but let's get it sooner.
We would love to do it in phase 1, so we're working diligently to see if we can make that happen.
Okay, and then we've got stage, dance floor, bar, more seating.
We're currently on the dance floor.
We are on the dance floor.
That's why we set up here.
Yeah.
That was
Feels
another.
right.
Sorry, just tell me to shut up. I talk too much, but
You're doing
you
great,
can cut it
babe.
out later.
You're doing great.
No, that was another fun thing about having a second opportunity at building a bar. The first time we didn't know anything about anything. We were just guessing. Matt at Shame, we literally brought over, we're like, how do we lay out a bar? Like, what do we do? Go to Shame and Regret, they're amazing. And yeah, that was a big thing we got feedback on. Room for dance plays, dance
People
floor,
wanted to, and they did dance in our tiny little bar. And they had
There
a
was
good
never
time.
space for it, but they did.
It knocked over several drinks, but they were dancing.
So that part, also being able to build from scratch around a performance space, that is the most important thing in our business. And so you can see the performers from every inch of the public space, which is very exciting for us, very excited for getting to provide that space for concerts for our bartenders and stuff like that. They can really be seen and heard.
I didn't think about that earlier, but did your past experience on stage inform your design sense here? Or did you have a little bit of choreography to it all, where you're like, oh yeah, I can see it. That's like you're doing stage blocking suddenly, like exit over here.
Scene design.
It is a little like that.
It was overwhelming in this space because you can see it's just an open cube. and we didn't want to lose the heart and intimacy of the last place, so that's why we decided to create these kind of vignettes of areas for people to be, but still being able to see the performers. So that was kind of the formula we were going off of, and hopefully it works. It feels good. Overwhelming right now in this state, but trusting the plans.
Yeah, if anyone needs conference tables, they've got a couple that are available.
Please.
Yeah,
They're brand new.
Yeah, haven't really been used. But.
So now that you're in the midst of it too, which one was harder, opening during the pandemic or trying to get open right now?
I think this is definitely harder for me. I don't want to speak for you, but the pandemic, there was nothing else to do. Like truly nobody was doing anything. So it kept us busy, and we didn't know what we were doing. So we were just like learning new information and really excited. This is, there's still days where we're like, God, that fire just like really took our joy.
Well, you have a blueprint now that you have to sort of live up to.
Yeah.
Versus just making it up on the fly.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're super exciting. Like, we're excited to have a bigger space. We love design, so it's been fun to design another bar. But this is hard for many reasons. We have a bunch of people out of work that we love a lot. So every day that we're not open is just like tough.
And no matter what, people are gonna compare it, and that makes me very anxious. But at the end of the day, we didn't choose to move. So we're just hoping we can bring over the things they loved and make it even better for them this time.
So in terms of new space, just for people that are excited and amped up to come back to Icons, what's coming back? What's coming that's new, and what can people expect to experience?
That's a good question. The biggest thing that we get asked about is the artwork in general. We had a lot of local art. So we're bringing over anything that was tangible that we can bring over. Gonna lose on the murals, which is very, very sad, but I already reached out to the same artists and we're like, hey, obviously we want you back. How can we collaborate on that? We were very well known for our themed bathrooms, which were, I don't know if people have not seen them.
Thing.
It was a thing. They were shrines to icons, played their music, things. So we are doing that, but we're doing new people, new artists, so that people won't compare. So we are gonna highlight Dolly and Rue in another space in the main area, and then we'll have 3 new artists, which will be a surprise.
Cool.
I like keep it a surprise. You don't need to play your hand right now.
Yeah.
This being usually a food and drink podcast, not just bar, nightclub, but let's talk about the food and drink real quick. So hot dogs are coming back.
Yes.
Same menu exactly, or are you going to do any tweaks now that you have an opportunity to sort of refresh?
I think it's pretty much going to stay the same.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a delicious hot dog, so why mess with it,
There's going to be a big learning curve for every aspect of Icons 2.0. And there's more room now. So we were talking about partnering with food trucks on special occasions or partnering with the awesome restaurants around us. But yeah, on paper, it'll be essentially the same and, feature our rotating iconic cocktails.
Okay.
And as far as the drinks go, we put this amazing winter holiday menu together, and the fire happened on December 4th. So we had that holiday menu for like a week or two. So that's sad.
So you've got one in the bag for next season.
Yes.
So
I was gonna say, are you gonna
Get
launch with that?
excited.
No matter when you launch, even if it's like September,
Yes.
you're like, guys, holiday, here you go.
Get excited for the holidays. But some of the regular drinks that people love, they can expect. But yeah, we will have quite a few new options.
Yeah.
In terms of just sheer space, how many extra seats are there? Like, what was your capacity at the old spot versus new
Yeah.
spot?
It basically doubles our capacity.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so we were just under 50 before, and now we're
At 100.
at 100.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
It's a big jump.
it is.
yeah.
So
So please come.
we mentioned the GoFundMe, we mentioned the Well, that fundraiser, you did Carter Payne. Are there any more fundraisers coming up in the next month or two that you're aware of where people can go and see you in other spaces and help support?
Nothing's on the books yet. We're in talks with a couple of people. First off, everyone's been so generous. We've done a million of these takeovers. at local bars and restaurants. It's been so fun. But we're going to watch this slowly because we'd like to start doing some little VIP parties in the space, even during construction.
Yeah, mid-construction.
Doing some construction concerts.
Cool. Just some drywall dust on the top of your cocktail. Sounds good.
Well, that just played well into our final last little question, which, song in the space as it is, we were going to ask you, beg you, say please a lot if you would sing for us.
Did you bring your guitar?
Did you?
I didn't bring mine.
It's out in the car. I'll be right back.
This is a new environment. Yeah. I feel like I'm in the studio. Fish gotta swim, birds gotta fly. I gotta love one man till I die. Maybe. Can't help loving that man of mine.
Hey, listen, sister, I love my Mr. Man, and I can't tell you why. There ain't no reason why I should love that man.
I must cast.
It's all right.
It must be something that the angels did plan.
Fish gotta swim, birds gotta fly. I gotta love one man till I die. Can't help loving that man of mine.
Tell me he's lazy, tell me he's slow.
Say what now?
Tell me I'm crazy,
You're crazy.
Maybe I know. Can't help loving that man of mine. When he goes away, that's a rainy day. But when he comes back, that day is fine. The sun will shine. He can come home as late as can be. Home without him ain't no home to me. Can't help loving that man of mine. That man of mine.
Damn. It's great. The reverb is just like primo.
Right?
Like you want to get rid of some of it, but don't get rid of it all.
Yeah, I know.
We appreciate you inviting us into the space here. It's sort of we're gonna definitely share the link.
He's that kind of person that can get away with that. It's like, okay, that's not what I ordered, but you have such a strong personality, I'm not going to fight you on that. You're right. These are the rum and cokes you're looking for. You know what I mean?
Can we have a rum and coke night at District 11 and all you guys do is do that?